Hey coaches, thanks for joining. My name is Stephanie Badmanuk and I am the CEO and founder of Team Elevate. So thanks so much for joining me and checking out my video. I've done a video already on how I use Google Streak for my Beachbody business. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, feel free to. So today I'm going to be showing you how to set up Google Streak. And I'm doing it in a more detailed way, kind of how I've done it. If you're a brand new coach to Beachbody, you may want to watch my other video on how to set up Google Streak for new coaches, because it's going to show you just more of the basics that are the most important things for you to be tracking right off the bat from your business. This might be a little too much for you in the beginning, or maybe not. So it's up to you, but just don't let yourself get overwhelmed if you are a brand new Beachbody coach that's wanting to set up Google Streak. This may or may not be for you, and you can definitely check out my easier version and my more basic version of how to set it up as well. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to share my screen. So the very first thing you need to do is make sure you set up a Gmail account, and you want to have a specific Gmail account for your Beachbody business. You do not want your personal Gmail account. You want this account to be just for Beachbody. So once you've done that, you also need to install the Google Streak app, and you need to be using the Google Chrome browser. You can't be using a different browser. It has to be through Google Chrome. So if you don't have Google Chrome, number one, you need to get that. You need to get a Gmail account for your Team Beachbody email, and then you need to add on Google Streak as an app. And you can do that just by Googling Google Streak, and it will let you add it on. So once you're done all of that, the way I do it is I just go to this little thing in the corner called Apps, and it takes you here, and I just click on Gmail, and that's going to take me to my Gmail account, which I've already done and loaded. So that's here. Once you have already downloaded and added on Google Streak, it's going to show up in the same place as part of your Google and your Gmail account. So once you've done that, it'll show you Streak up here in the corner, as well as it will show you the pipelines as well. So if you're not sure how Google Streak works yet, or how I use it for my business, like I said, I've already discussed that in my previous video, so I'm not going to go over all of that. What I want to do today is show you how to set up pipelines, your columns, and your stages. Just the very basic things that you need to do to get set up and start using Google Streak. So right here you see pipelines. Now if I click right here, I can see all of the pipelines I've already created. I'm just gonna pretend those aren't there and pretend that this is a brand new Gmail account that I'm starting to set up my Google Streak. So what you do is you can, right beside pipelines, you see it says new. So I'm gonna click on new, and I'm gonna create a new pipeline. Now it really doesn't matter which one you choose. Some people like to choose sales, some people go down to the bottom and choose blank. Now I generally choose the sales one, doesn't really matter. Sure, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. All right, so it is going to create my brand new pipeline. So this is just giving me kind of a very basic pipeline. And this is where you want to start. So I am going to link a Google document for you to check out as well. On how I set up my streak. So this has all of the columns that I put into mine, some more information on master pipelines, which we'll talk about, and then each of my pipelines and the stages I put in them. I've done screenshots for you. Now these will change as I start using it more and find what works for me and what doesn't. And this is not going to work exactly for you the way that I have them. Some of the things I have in here are things that I found from other coaches in their training videos that I still haven't tested out. So it may not work for me once I start to use some of these pipelines more. But this will be available to you, so don't worry about trying to write all of this down. So I'm going to go back to this one. So let's just set one up called leads, because really what the most important thing we're doing here is needing to track our leads and follow up with them, right? Because that's going to move our business forward. So I'm going to start this. Now it's probably going to know that I already have one called leads, so I'm going to write leads test, because then I'll know that I'm doing it for this video. All right, so here's my lead pipeline. Now what I would really recommend is this. Choose one pipeline. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to call it that. Let's just call it master. We're going to start, and we're just going to call it our master pipeline. And the reason we're going to do that two because I already have one. The reason we're going to do that is because what I would urge you to do is set up your columns first and foremost. Don't worry about your stages. Those are super easy to change, and they're going to be different from pipeline to pipeline. But your columns here, they need to be the same in every single one of your pipelines for the most part, so that when you're moving a box or a person from pipeline to pipeline, all that information you have on them moves with them. If you're missing a column called notes in your lead, or from your leads to your customer, and you move a lead to your customers, and you don't have the column for notes in your customer one, any notes you had will be lost. So what I would urge you to do is decide what things you want to track first, create one master pipeline, and go from there. So some of these you don't need. Deal size you don't need. So you're just going to click right here and you're going to delete it. You don't need that one, right? Assigned to, some people want to keep it and some people don't. I keep it because I like to know if the person is under my account or my husband's. Date of last email, I'm going to delete or remove it as well. And then notes I want to have. Now, that's not very many. I'm going to come over here. Now, the first one I have is stage. The next one that I put is due date and or follow-up date, whatever you want to call it. And I create that column as a date column. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to delete or close that. Okay. So to add a new column, you just click this right here. And you can add any of these, a free form box, a date, a checkbox, drop-down tag, right? So I'm going to add a date. And then I'm going to name it due date. Okay, and you can also slide these to make them smaller as well if you're anal like I am and like everything to be neat and tidy and whatever, okay? So the next one I have is days and stage. Now days and stage is called a magic column. So when you go down here to magic columns, there's some different magic columns, and I didn't use this for email addresses, but I noticed it after, so I'm not exactly sure what the difference is when you create an email address magic column instead of, I just did a free form. If you want to try it, that's great. Let me know what happens. But anyways, when you come down here, days and stage, you can add, and that's going to calculate for you automatically. I'm just going to grab it and move it over so it's right beside stage. I like seeing stage here. Some people don't. I'm just going to add a box in here so you can see what it's going to look like. So this stage that this box is in the lead stage, whether you want that there or not. I like to be able to click here to change it easily from along my stages. So if you don't think you'll use that, then you can delete that column as well. But this is going to show you how many days, it's not loading obviously yet, how many days this box or person has been in that stage. So there's some stages you might only want to keep people in for a few days before you follow up. So that's helpful for that reason. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here. The next one I have is Facebook page, which is free form, and then invited, which I have a date. So I'm going to do a free form Facebook page, and that's where I copy their Facebook URL. And then invited, I want to do a date because I want to know when I invited them. Contacted is a drop down. So here's how you do that. So you're going to go drop down, contacted, and then you have to have a fake box open here, but when you click on it, you can add in your tags if you want. Now, what I would recommend doing is, this is your master pipeline. So you want to make this as good as you can. You want to put in all the options in all your drop downs and all your tags and all of your, anything that you can put in this master pipeline before you create any other pipelines is going to help, because what you're going to do is just use this pipeline to replicate for all your other pipelines, and then you're just going to be able to change your stages, but all of your columns will be exactly the same. Because if I write 21, sorry, pretend I was in a different column. If I write 21-day fix like this on this one, but in my customers under programs, I write 21-day fix like that. When I go to move a customer from one to the other, if it's not written exactly the same way, it's not going to transfer. So that's why I would recommend taking the time to fill these out, your tags, your drop downs, and everything before you start creating all your pipelines. And that way, at least most of them will be there. If down the road you decide, oh, I really want to start tracking something that you didn't have on here, you can go and add it into them all and just make sure that it's on all of your pipelines or the ones you're going to be moving to. But there's going to be the odd time where you can have or add in a column in a certain pipeline that maybe you don't want to transfer the information over. But for the most part, I want to transfer everything with that person. So that's how I do it. So contacted, I like to put I contacted them as an option. And then I create that, and then I'm just going to delete it. And they contacted, oh man, I can't, gotta concentrate. They contacted me. I'm going to create that, and then I'm just going to delete that. So now my two options in my dropdown, I contacted them or they contacted me. If you want to track that, if you couldn't care less about that, then don't put it in your columns. That's totally fine. You don't have to have the same ones as me. I just put what I do have. Something actually I need to add into here that I didn't is in a lot of them, I also put duplicate as a checkbox. And I explained how I use that in my very first video on how I use Google Streak for my business. So I'm not going to go over that in this one, but I just did a checkbox called duplicate, so I know if it's a duplicate person, and I'm going to move that way over to, oops, get that little hand. You can move them wherever you want. All right, so contacted, I'm not going to do all of these. First order date, last contacted, those are both the date ones. Those are easy. Email, you can like I said, you can either, I did it free form, but you can also do a magic column. I'm not sure what happens to the magic column when you put an email in. It's not letting me type it in. So I don't know. I did it as a free form column email, but it's up to you. I guess I'll have to figure out what the difference is between the two. I'm sure that there's some benefit to having the freeform email, but I'm not sure what it is. So source is one that's I find is really important for me, because I want to know where I met that person. So I would recommend, if you're going to use that, to put in either the drop downs or the tags. They're pretty much the same thing. I'm going to do a drop down for source, and then since this is your master that you're going to be using, instead of having to go through every pipeline and make sure all of your options are the same, why not just do it? Put all your options in here in your master pipeline. So instead of doing it the way I did it, you can just go manage options as well. And I'm going to add an option. So maybe I met them on Facebook. Oops, I shouldn't have saved it. I should have added. Okay, let's try that again. Manage options. So I'm just going to keep adding Facebook, my like page, add an option. Maybe it was my website. Oh my goodness. My website. Maybe it was from my, oh my God, I can't even think anymore. Well, else? I do farmers markets, so I can put from the markets. Maybe it was from my team, from my site, like my Beachbody site. Maybe they were a customer lead. Maybe they were a Success Club lead, right? So all the different places that you might, maybe they came from Instagram or Twitter or whatever, right? So add in any options that you think that you can possibly think of that you would ever use, because it's going to save you time in the long run. It's just setting it up that's going to take some time. So now those are in here, and they're going to be the same if I just duplicate this pipeline for all of my other ones and just change these. Okay, so that's my main recommendation for saving you time, is to decide what you want to track, set up your columns exactly how you want them, at least for now. I mean, I know that can change, but do it the best you can for now. So you're going to go through, set up all of these. I'm not going to set up any more. When you get down to programs and interested in and do a drop down, you want to make sure to add in all the Beachbody programs. And that way they're all typed the exact same. They're in there. They're easy to pick when you go ahead and do that. Shakeology and Shakeology flavor, like I said in my last video, It's not something I'm going to track for everybody because it changes way too often. I'm mostly using that for my brand new coaches and customers. So I know what flavor they have, and so I can follow up with them throughout that first month in that pipeline and make sure they're liking the flavor and see if I can help them with any recipes. And so I want to know that then. After that, it's pretty hard to constantly keep that up when you have so many customers. If I want to know that, I can just look in my Team Beachbody account. So it's up to you. I probably would have left that out, but I don't mind having it in there. I'll just leave it blank if I don't use it. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do is set up all of your columns across the top. If you want, the very last one I had was a magic column called date created, just so I know when I added them, basically. Like when I created, it's going to automatically put the date that I added them. So if I forget to add when I've contacted them or something, it'll at least be there. All right. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go ahead and set all of those up right now, but I would spend time doing that, put in all of your tags, all of your drop downs, get that done, and it's going to make it so much easier. Now, if you're a brand new coach, you're going to probably not want to track that much information. You're maybe only going to want the very basic things, which I'll talk about in my new coach video. But if you're a coach that's been doing this for a while, you may want more details of what you're tracking, and that's completely up to you. Now, what I do is I just keep my one master pipeline, and then I just made a backup pipeline just in case that one got deleted. But I decided to make a master pipeline for my new product launches, my events and challenge groups, and my free groups. And the reason is because now every time I have an event and a challenge group, I don't have to go and create my stages for each one. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But let's go to the leads. Let's say, okay, I've created my master pipeline. I have all my columns. You may want to change these to be more specific to, like, I'm going to look here at my master pipeline that I've already created. What I did is there's hidden pipelines. So on any of your pipelines, you can right click on them and you can hide the pipeline. And that's just going to put it in your hidden pipeline. And that's where I put all my master pipelines over here on the side so that they're out of my way and I can't see them, but they're there. So here's my master pipeline. I put all my columns, they're there. And then I just did a very basic one, but it really doesn't matter because my master mostly is just for my columns. Then you're going to want to set it up with your stages. So if you want to do a master pipeline for challenge groups and events, then I would say go ahead and put all your stages in, call it master pipeline. So you already have all your columns done. And that's the most important thing with your main masters, your columns. So where's this one I was doing? Okay, so here's the one we were just doing. Say this is done and I'm good. I don't care. Say I decided I don't care about these because they're going to change. I just want one master one that has all the right columns in it. Now, if I want to duplicate that, I'm just going to right click on it right here on my master pipeline, and I'm going to create a similar pipeline. Okay, so now that I have my columns done, I want to create a similar pipeline. And I'm just waiting. And if you see here, it created one and it puts an asterisk or like a little star after it. So you know that it's a duplicate and a similar pipeline and that you're going to want to rename it. So say I wanted to now create my master pipeline for events and challenge groups. And that way I can go ahead and create my stages now. So let me see here which ones I did. I'm going to go right down to the bottom. And on here, I also did show you, here's my master and how I did it and set it up. So the first stage I have is liked, interested, or going. The second is contacted. So right here, my very first thing I want to track, I want to rename my stage. Liked, interested, or going. Contacted is already there. My third one that I had, sent Google form, questions and conversation. So rename, and these can be whatever you want. If you don't have a Google form, then you're not going to need this stage, right? Sent Google form conversation. And then I have no invite to free group or yes, send link. So no, I'm going to make sure I put them in here and I'll invite them to my next free group. Yes. Send link. Now, say that's all you wanted to put and you had an extra one, you can also delete a stage if there's an extra stage there that you don't want. When you need to add in a stage, you just click here and you can continually add in the stages. So after that, ordered, add it to group. So I could start another one and say, yep, they ordered. It's super, I don't know what I did. Master pipeline, here we go. Add it to group, right? Okay, so however you choose to set up these is totally up to you, but I would recommend creating a master for the main different things that you're going to be using them for. If you want to track events, free groups, and new product launches. So that's what I did my masters for. My one master was just so I had the columns. So no matter what I did for a pipeline, I had the columns generally set out in there, because now in this one, if I add a new box and I have somebody and I come over here and I click sources, these are here because I replicated my master pipeline where I already put these in. If I just came up here and created a new pipeline again to create this, these wouldn't be here. I would have to go in and do all of these columns again for every single pipeline, and I would have to put all of these in. And then if I didn't put them in the exact same way, like if I put like page and then on the other one I put Facebook like page, it wouldn't transfer because they aren't the same thing. So make one master and duplicate it for all of them so that you have the same thing. And then if you do go and add in a box or a column later on, if something you want to track, add it into all your pipelines. That's what I do. That way I will not risk losing any information, and I don't have to put these in every single time. So once you have your master event and challenges or whatever, if you choose to do that, I like to have one where I have them move through the event and then straight, if they order, they go straight in the challenge group and it continues all in the same pipeline. You may not want to do that. You may just want to track customers and coaches and leads, and that's totally fine. That's a great way to do it too. So let's say I have this one done, and this was my master pipeline. I have my columns the same from the other one. I got all these ready. All I'm going to do is come over to my master pipeline event right here, right click it, and I can hide it. And it's going to move it down here into my hidden pipelines as my master. Now let's say, okay, my October group is called From the Inside Out, and it's going to be an event and a challenge. I have an event set up. So I'm going to come to my master pipeline for events and challenges, right click. I'm going to create a similar pipeline, and it's going to do that up here, up not in my hidden pipelines. So I created it. It's the master pipeline events challenges, and it's got the star, which means it's duplicated, or it's created a similar, like a duplicate. And I'm going to call it my October challenge group. And voila, it's already set up for me. And in November, when I have a challenge group, I can go to my hidden pipelines, to my master. I can create a similar pipeline, and I can name it my November challenge group. And I can start adding people in as they respond to the event, and I can move them through my pipeline. I can track them throughout the challenge. So that's how I use master pipelines, and why I think they're so very powerful, because they will save you a lot of time if you just invest the time when you're setting it up. Even if you just do your one master pipeline for your columns and then do your stages just by duplicating that one, that's fine. You don't have to do a master pipeline for all of them like I did. I just wanted to save myself time down the road because I wanted to track all those things. If you don't, just create one master pipeline with the columns in it so that you aren't constantly doing that. All right, so let's say you want to track your leads, which is super important, right? So your leads, I'm just going to look and see what I have. And you just need to decide what kind of stages do you want to move your leads through to track them, okay? So I have new leads, past interest, follow-up are my first three, okay? So I'm going to rename it because this is my lead. So I have new leads, past interest. So that's people who were interested but aren't ready, or they're just not right now. Past interest, oh my goodness. And what did I say? Follow up and follow up and blah, blah, blah. So you continue, change your stages for whatever you want to track in your lead section. And then when you want to add people in, if you have someone that's talking to you on Facebook, as soon as you get done watching this video, you want to track them, create a new box, call them Tammy, and create her box. Then you can click on her. Maybe you can click on her box and you can add in a note and say, contacted me, or sorry, maybe just interested, interested in the fix and October group. And then I might set a follow-up date for her as I'm still talking to her, but I might just set myself a reminder to follow up with her by Tuesday if the conversation kind of goes stale. So that's there. I'm going to do a video, a quick video later on about how to use the due dates and follow-up dates for this the most effectively. So yeah, so it's super easy, just like that. I could have put in her Facebook profile and copied the link in there, whatever information I wanted about her, but now she'd be in my leads. Right now she's in added to group. If I want to move her to new leads, I can double click and move her to new leads, or I can go into her box and I can change it right here. If Tammy tomorrow decided to buy a challenge pack and became a customer, I would click right here and I would move her to a different pipeline that I've created. Once you have your pipelines created. So the main pipelines that you're going to want to probably create for now when you're getting started, because it can be super overwhelming. This took me many months to wrap my head around, and I put it off for a long time because it was so overwhelming. And the thought of having to transfer all of my people from Asana, all of my follow-ups into leads from Asana, and all of my customers and coaches from Beachbody into here was so overwhelming to me that I just shut down, and I'd done a lot and I kind of started setting it up, but I was just like, I can't do this. There's way too much to do. So I would say start small, but don't slack on creating your columns, because that's really the most important thing, is what do you want to track right now. That can change, but create a master with those. And then even if you just set up a pipeline for leads, coaches, and customers, if those are the three things that you want to track, then that's great. You know, then track those three things. And I'm also going to be doing a video on how to bulk import your Team Beachbody coaches and customers. So stay tuned for that one. All right, so that is how to create masters, columns, pipelines, and how to change your stages. You can also change the color if you want to do certain colors. You can change them here. Or you can go into a custom color, and then they have like different things which keep them checked off, which is really cool. So I can go in, add a custom color, and I know I did that one, so maybe I want to go that one. And then it's easy to like kind of group your stages together if you have stages that kind of fit together in a nice group before you do that. So yeah, you can change your color, delete your stages, change your stages. Your stages don't matter from pipeline to pipeline. There's nothing in those stages. It's the boxes and the information in the columns that's going to transfer from stage to stage. So that is the basics of setting up your Google Streak. Remember to get a Gmail account, use Google Chrome, and add on Google Streak, the Google Streak app, to your computer. And once you log into your Gmail, it should just be over here on the side. Create your first pipeline. Remember, go to new and either sales or blank. If you go to blank, it's going to just be blank. So same kind of thing. If you want to do a blank one as your master, that's probably a great idea too. You can set up all your columns that you want, put in all your drop down options, all your tag options and all of that. Call it your master pipeline. hide it, put it into your hidden ones, and have it there. So it's super easy to create a similar pipeline. However many masters you choose to create is totally up to you and how you want to run your business and what you want to use Google Streak for. Some people just want to use it to track their leads and to follow up and not let anyone fall through the cracks. Some people want to use it, like me, I want to use it to track my current customers, my current coaches, my groups. I just want to be a better coach all around and feel like I don't have the best memory. So, and I talk to a lot of people every day. I have, you know, I'm still a fairly new coach, only a year and a half, but I have well over 500 coaches and customers already. And I can't remember half the people that and that's just coaches and customers, not even all the leads and the people that I have in those pipelines. So you can't remember everybody. And it's, you know, it's unfortunate when you start talking to someone and it's like, oh, I don't even remember if I've ever talked to them, right? And you have to look back in your notes. Well, this way it's all right here for you. So that is how I set up the general setup to get you started on Google Streak and using it for your Beachbody business. So I hope that helps. Make sure to check out my next video, which is going to be how to bulk import your customers from your Team Beachbody back office. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.